Like the European Union has been working on the nature restoration law now for many years, and I think the law we know is a community attempt to halt habitat slide and also to restore biodiversity loss, which is an obvious imperative. The law is intended to target primarily habitats that can contribute to carbon capture and storage. While the initial targets up to 2030 can be delivered from our bank of state land, the progressive rising targets cannot be achieved from state lands alone. The Annex 1 habitats are specifically targeted for restoration, and these include drained peatlands, much of which are presently in agricultural use, in which no opt-out exists for farming or for associated landowners. Excuse me. Restoring these lost habitats means implementing rewetting, and while this is welcome from a biodiversity perspective, it does mean such lands cannot be used into the future as they presently are for productive farming. There is an obvious risk here for the agricultural economy and to farm family livelihoods. At present, the lands must be defined as for agricultural use. They must be supported under the Common Agricultural Policy Incentive Scheme. That is what this motion is calling for. And the restoration of lands may take precedence over preserving lands within the CAP programme. And so we will be asking that they would be preserved within this programme. The requirements to provide land for the restoration programme will also further diminish the availability of agricultural land, thereby increasing future land prices and, by extension, future production costs. This is an unwelcome consequence which will impact Ireland's competitiveness in national and exported food pricing. Recent years have rightly seen an increased emphasis on tackling both climate change and biodiversity loss, and this is certainly within every global citizen's interest. However, Ireland is firstly an efficient food-producing agricultural nation, and the impacts of such proposed climate policies are placing a very heavy and disproportionate burden on our indigenous agricultural sector. It is therefore incumbent, Chair, that our ministers, our environment ministers attending the European environment discussions this week, they must have both just transition and economic sustainability objectives for our agricultural and rural community, and this must be at the very top of their agenda. The unique capability of Irish lands to produce both productive and economic output that sustains family incomes must be recognised within this European legislation, and this is what this motion calls.
Thank you very much, Deputy.